my god, people, what an explosive finale. Holy shit, everyone. Sorry, I swore. I know I don't do that a lot. But no, really, I thought that was an incredible finale. And as I said before, I think if we didn't get a season 5, that would have been a great shame. Just because I read a comment, and I apologize, I do not remember your name right now, but you know, something like just cancelling Gotham just as we get Gotham. Not saying that Gotham wasn't good before, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't cover this show. But it would feel like, and even with the 13 episodes that we're getting, it does feel like we're getting rid of Gotham just as we're getting Gotham. But just like with all things in life, guys, this wasn't the perfect finale. Nothing in life is perfect. That is an imperfection if you think it is. Everything is perfect, if that makes any sense. Boba wisdom for the day. But before I get into this review and breakdown, guys, subscribe for more content on Gotham on this channel. There will be plenty of Gotham content till season 5. I will be your Gotham fix until then, so I'm talking like news updates on like season 5 stuff, predictions, speculations, what I think of what they've said on the villains that are coming in season 5. You know what I mean. I'll keep you covered. And of course, if you go on to enjoy this video, Gothamites, as this is my last review for season 4, hit that like button, as it really does show your support for the channel, and I know you guys will smash it because you are just amazing people. Before I get into this review, thank you so much for everyone who stuck with me on this channel through the Gotham ride. It means the world to me. I should probably say this at the end, but just before I get into it, even though this is my last review of season 4, plenty of videos to come in the off season. Check out some of the other content I do as well, because maybe you'll like that as well if you're into other nerdy comic book things. But right, let's get onto this episode. The very first thing we saw was Selina getting rushed into a hospital, and that is like quite a dire situation, obviously, because she's been shot. But secondly, I remember one of the doctors, if I remember correctly, saying, you know, everyone's evacuated the city, really, most of the good doctors, so they're just left with like this skeleton crew trying to save her. And let's also just quickly talk about how Selina wasn't really in this episode. That was kind of interesting. I want to talk also about the reveal at the end that she has actually got a spinal cord injury. The doctor even said that her injury is most likely permanent. Now, this is most definitely an Oracle arc. And I did say this, guys, and I thought it was quite a ludicrous theory of mine, but I said I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do in season 5, and at this point we didn't know we were getting only 13 episodes. I thought if we were going to get a season, we might actually get 22. So this might actually be brushed over, but I did preliminarily say Selina might be in the Batcave or just helping him out, because I could also imagine, just like fans have wanted for a long time, if Bruce is going to go out there and be a goddamn vigilante, open up Thomas Wayne's little secret office, the proto Batcave. He had freaking a vest on a freaking mannequin. He had all kinds of things, like a fridge full of blood, things like that. Selina could be sat behind the desk, a little Oracle arc. Love it, hate it, doesn't really matter. I just thought that's where they can maybe go with it. And then, yeah, it would be over before you knew it. But I don't think they might not do that storyline now, just because they've only got 13 episodes and people are worried enough as it is that things might be rushed. So Selina being out the game in the last season, not being able to walk and things, would be pretty annoying for really big Selina fans, I feel. So they might have to just say in the time jump between season 4 and 5, she might just already be healed, and it could have just been a nice little Easter egg to the future Barbara Gordon, whatever you want to call it, storyline where the Joker shoots her. Now let's talk a little bit about Jeremiah in the holding cell. I love that. Heath Ledger vibes, just Dark Knight vibes, but also just his own unique touch on it. Obviously, he's not draining from other actors. Jeremiah is quite different. If I would have to say one Joker, he does remind me of the Dark Knight Returns. Brilliant performance. Really do love him. I think it's great. It's different. I think it is a bit unfair. A lot of people ask me all the time, Jerome or Jeremiah. This guy has only been in a few episodes this season, so you can't really compare. Imagine 4 seasons worth of Jeremiah. Then you could compare you know, him with Jerome. And what I mean by this is, as well, we got that the last shot I think we got of Cameron Monaghan in this episode as Jeremiah was that satisfying face he like pulled, like when the bombs went off. And I think, yeah, that was the last scene we saw of him. So do you know what I mean? There is more in him, but I just don't think we're going to get it, especially with 13 episodes. He might be in next season quite a bit. However, you can't compare them. And one thing I really like about Jeremiah, and this was shown in the interrogation scene with Jim, and also in the scene where he actually shot Selina, and how he's just staring at Bruce just like with no empathy or anything, like a true sociopath, a psychopath, whatever you want to call it. Same thing happening. Jim was slamming up against the wall, even punching him, and he was just like, just not even there, but just pure evil, really. And that is definitely a trait of Joker. Obviously, this isn't an anarchic, chaotic Joker necessarily. There's elements to that, obviously, with the city exploding, but yeah, I found that very chilling, and especially when you're sliding down the wall, and you guys will have to point this out to me. Don't know what tune he was singing, but that was just creepy. And that was very chilling. I don't know what you thought, but as I said, when he's just sliding down, it's like, come on, guys. We all know in the horror films when the little girl is singing or something like that, it's just goddamn scary. I also like how Jeremiah seems to have really quite digged into Gordon and he said something along the lines of, "You never were good at holding on to what you care about, were you, James?" You know, just things like that. And Jim was just like, what are you trying to say, man? What are you trying to say? So I just love it. Joker also very traditionally likes to poke at people, and I know there's going to be a comment out there saying, "But why are you calling him the Joker when you know he's not the Joker?" Come on, he is our Joker, even though John Stevens, the executive producer, has said, no, Jeremiah is not the Joker, blah, blah, blah. You can, as Cameron Monaghan, kind of clarify to try and fix that amongst fans. Do with it what you want, especially as we're not getting anything beyond next season. If they don't tie it up with the actual Joker being inspired by these two Valeska twins, then by all means, guys, make this guy your Joker. Make Jeremiah the Joker. And that's what Cameron deserves, really. Now, let's skip forward to when Bruce comes in because of the Major instructed him in, and even though it's against the wishes of Jim. So Bruce coming in and with Jeremiah strapped against, that escorting kind of, I don't know what to call it. Just something you can transport a prisoner with where they're just strapped in. And does that remind you of a video game as well? Like, as well as just many other things. But I just saw like Arkham Asylum at the beginning when Batman is walking the Joker and he's talking to him. It's just very Jokery. Lots and lots of little nice Easter eggs in this episode for things just like that. And it was very just such a chilling scene. I have to say, David Mazouz really showed his acting chops here. The way he was looking at Jeremiah with not only like a brooding face, but just his eyes were so glassy. Like they were glassed up with tears, with anger and passion and upset feelings, obviously, because Jeremiah was talking about Selena. He said something that was really just mean and horrible. He was very, very creepy in the scene. So Bruce is just looking at him with such hate, and that was so powerful, and it really made me think of how he's going to look at Joker one day, or just imagining Batman in my head in this universe looking at the Joker and never like killing him, because at that point, and even now, Bruce has learned that lesson kinda. It was just really good, and honestly, David, amazing job there, and Cameron, of course. But yeah, I don't know what it is. David just really struck me there. Really, really, really struck me. But yeah, just the chilling comments from Jeremiah. It's like, I wonder what vertebrae I severed. Was it this one, basically? And that's what I mean. Cameron's performance as Jeremiah is so chilling. What is so chilling about it is he's saying all these things with no empathy or emotion half the time in his face. But every now and again, he does get a little kick or a smile, only when he's saying the creepy stuff. So, for example, he's like talking to Bruce, blah, 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 like this. And he's like, oh, what vertebrae did I say? And like, you shouldn't get happy about those things, obviously. So, brilliant. I definitely dig what he's trying to do with this character rather than Jerome's portrayal. Next, Jeremiah and Bruce escape because of Ra's al Ghul disappearing, killing everyone in the room who was protecting them, the military guys. I like how Jeremiah just before that said he was referencing to Ra's, and just winking at him, saying that he wants to create the Gotham that Bruce needs. Bruce's dark island will come, and this is the city that Bruce, this version of the city after No Man's Land is Batman's like little pad. It is what he birthed him, and I feel like that's what this episode did such a good job of. So kind of winding back a little bit, I'll talk about this very briefly. The mayor wanted to obviously lift the evacuation. Like, why are the mayors so stupid in this town? When Jim is like the only one with the sense, like, well, no, there's bombs everywhere, why do you want to do that? But anyway, the mayor kind of got what was coming to him. Ra's was just trolling them outside, just like, and they were like, what, this is weird guy just looking at us, bang, they're dead. Then he disintegrates into his freaking Voldemort Death Eater style thing. And then, in a very No Man's Land way, loved it, the military come in. This Major, I can't remember the name of him, but we're just going to call him Major, told Gordon that they're declaring martial law, so he is completely in control. I thought it was extremely ludicrous, but maybe, when you are effing with military like that, insubordination, as he puts it, that how Jim got arrested, and even Harvey got arrested later in the episode as as well, but that GCPD moment as well, when, you know, everyone, this is what I love about this season, they've structured the respect for Gordon, whereas at the beginning he had none with the crime licenses. That is the writing I love in Gotham. When all those guns were just facing the military, I was like, that takes balls, respect, and admiration for your one day future commissioner, Jimothy Gordon. So brilliant. But anyway, this leads me to the slightly more critical stuff. Well, actually, I'm more critical over because obviously when Jim got arrested, he was being transported to go across the river, you know, because he wanted to prevent these bridges from blowing up. You know, Riddler inadvertently saved him. I don't think he killed anyone though, which was interesting. So maybe Lee did rub off on him a little bit because, you know, the Riddler was about sleep. But anyway, onto this part of the episode. Now, what I will say is there is a storyline now. I'm not going to say, oh, this just makes sense. Like, oh, here's a freaking book. I'm in love with this book. Do you know what I mean? That would make no sense. So they did structure this. Like, so he loves Lee for the woman that he can see her being one day. And he feels like Jim Gordon is holding her back from her potential. Therefore, he's just torturing Jim, putting like hundreds, I think he got up to like 350 pounds on Jim's freaking chest, and then Lee walks in just saying like a man can handle 450, and I was like, bloody hell, I could probably only handle like 2. Like I'd just be crumpled. So as I said, I get the motive, but I just feel like not many people care about it. I obviously get this could be a couple of people or more than that. I'm not saying that you can't like it. I'm glad if you do like it. I respect that and I'm happy for you. But I think a lot of us just struggle with this storyline. I feel like the Riddler's been great this season, but what they've done with him, so like the Riddler stuff, the Riddler character's been great, but what they've done with his storyline, with just becoming now obsessed with Lee, and before it was Kringle, and maybe that is a motivation for him. He's weak and susceptible to things like that, but still, I feel like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also, when Lee just said, I've made everyone rich in the Narrows kind of thing, and now I'm leaving again, I was like, is there really going to be another dialogue or more, whatever, the voiceover at the end of the episode? That would have triggered me, but I feel like that was a little poke at people like me, because obviously she is around in this episode and they implied next season as well. But one thing I will say is, there definitely is silver linings to this storyline. So when Jim did get out, and then Lee was just like, hey, and Jim was just talking about how he wishes things were different to Lee, that was really nice. That was a good scene. It was actually really well acted, and I felt because of their history in the show, it wasn't just made up. Where I feel like the Riddler stuff is, this stuff, they have history, Jim and Lee. So I thought it was wonderful and quite sweet when she kissed him goodbye, and they talked about how Jim could have a family, they could move away, but Lee was just like, that's not you, Jim. And we know that's not Jim. Jim will always try and help others first in this very commissionery way that we know. So she's like, that's not you, goodbye, Jim, go and save the city. And that is just so true, and it was appropriate. So as we kind of predicted, then Jim said Lee was kind of done with Ed. So when he walked in saying, this is the end of the road for us, I was just like, lol. He was just like, you were never going to leave with me, you only wanted to save Jim Gordon. And then I was just like, just as you thought Lee was going to get stabbed because you saw the blade the whole time, Lee stabs him, and then he freaking stabs Lee again. So, but then the most ridiculous thing happened. I was really trying to put my boot in both sides of the park. As I always say, I try and understand why they did this. I don't agree with it. I thought it was really silly. But, maybe they were just going for the artistic kind of, oh, look at this tragedy. Or like, two people stab each other, but they still have this darkness inside of them. So like, that's why Lee and him still kissed when they were freaking both impaled by a knife. But for me, guys, I thought that was just a bit too much, and I just got a feeling a lot of people will agree with that. I could be wrong, but really, two characters stabbing each other, and obviously the storyline is very overstretched and reached, with the Riddler liking Lee and them just being together, and then they kiss as they're dying on the floor. Yeah. Now, after being teased, or whether it's on social media, or like a lot of people, I'm sure watching this video, knew that Hugo Strange was coming at some point in this season, and we finally got him, and we only got a little bit of him, but obviously Penguin was fulfilling his plan to make Grundy free again of what he is and become Butch again. And so Hugo Strange's method for this was, having people there for fresh blood to put in his system, but only after flushing it out with these sort of antitoxins. Obviously, Butch gets cured. And I was so happy for him. At the same time, I was like, what about Grundy? What about Grundy? But either way, I was just going with the moment. I was happy for the character. I loved the way he just looked at Oswald. I will never forget this. Thank you so much or whatever. And it was so sweet as well. He got the girl. Tabby was just like, I love you. And that is saying, I don't know, I feel like she's quite a guarded character. She's kind of like a proto Selena, future Selena on this show, and but now they've given Selena kind of the reign. So when she was just saying I love you, you were so happy for them. And I actually didn't, I seriously guys, I really didn't see this next bit coming. I really didn't, but I also loved it. And I even wrote down in my little notes, because I don't write too many notes, but I was like, even Penguin is happy. I think he genuinely was, in a very sinister way, little did I know at the time, but also very happy for them. Seriously, because Penguin is actually quite, one of his roots is love, and he's always wanted love, but let's talk about it. He says to Butch, I want you to know that I consider you a friend and that I am truly sorry. And I honestly believe that first part, I consider you a friend. And this was hard for him to do, but it was more worth it for his vengeance, for his mother. And he shoots Butch dead, for as much as we know. And I was just like, oh my god. So when like Penguin was just saying, did you seriously think I forgot that you killed my mother? And I was just like, damn boy, Penguin is back. Now Penguin, he's my favorite villain in the whole of Gotham. I do feel like he has for once been put on the backseat a little bit, because he's normally quite the prominent forefront of the show. A lot of the time, a lot of the arcs surround Penguin. Like at the beginning, he had the crime licenses, other seasons up down with his empire. But honestly, the lines he was saying were just so powerful, and I almost forgot about Tabitha killing his mother. But when he was just like, I have lived with that pain every day. I could have killed you at any time I wanted, but I believe in an eye for an eye. You took away the one person I love, so I took away the one person you love. And I honestly, the reason why I love this scene so much is because I felt every line Penguin was saying as he was saying it. And as much as I was crushed for Butch, as I said, I almost forgot about this, and I was like, you know what, Penguin, good for you in a way. Like, bad for Grundy. Such good scene, such good acting from Robin, seriously good. I just felt like he was so convincing, and bravo, dude, bravo. But this sets up a whole other thing, obviously Tabitha was just like, I will kill you, and he was just like, you're welcome to try. So, yeah. Let's look out for that. Obviously, that's not going to happen. And I'm intrigued as to, is this it for Grundy in the Gotham universe? As I said, guys, because people are like, but Grundy can't die as a future comic book character. But no, they can do that. They can kind of do stuff like that, because it's their own universe. And maybe Grundy just died in this time. Or maybe in some ludicrous story in 10 years' time, he can be reanimated or whatever, when Batman's around. Now, let's move on to some of the other stuff with Ra's al Ghul and Jeremiah and Zibab, Barbara, and stuff like that. So Ra's al Ghul approached Barbara, and he actually revealed finally what the heck that portrait was about. I actually totally forgot about that as well. There's a few things that we needed answers for, and we got them even, kinda to a degree. So yeah, Ra's wants Barbara to leave with him because Gotham's gonna be in ruins, and even revealed, and I really kind of didn't like this, he feels like he doesn't have the full measure of the Demon's Head power. Even though Barbara gave it back, they basically confirmed that she has a bit of demonsy headsy in her, and that kind of does make it a demon's head in a way with what happened, and I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, he said the woman in the tapestry is a woman he loved ever so much, and he said that he invited her or offered her an eternity and she turned it down, and now he makes her the same offer. So is this like a freaking Vampire Diaries, Elena, Catherine doppelganger situation? Or is there actually more to it? Because I feel like they're only insinuating, he became fascinated with this Barbara woman because she looked just like the woman he loved once upon a time. Maybe it's just as simple as that. So let's continue off from when we spoke earlier about how Bruce got taken by Ra's as well as Jeremiah in that escape in the interrogation room. Ra's, it's funny seeing these two, complete crazy people beside each other, because Ra's al Ghul, as much as he appears saner than Jeremiah, is very delusional in his own way too. He explains how he brought Jeremiah and him together, and how Gotham being destroyed will forge Bruce's true self. I love the line that Ra's had when he was just said something like, the destruction of this city will rise, the dark night this city needs, and Jeremiah's version was kind of like, Gotham falls, we rise together. And even though Jeremiah does clarify how this plan exactly wasn't his cup of tea, he realizes that he wants Bruce to become this person too, that his and Ra's plans kind of do merge together. And it's all about that Batman-Joker relationship between Bruce and Jeremiah, but in the best friend kind of way at this point in time. That's what they're borrowing from the comics here, and how he wants Bruce to be this person. He's very excited. It's like a little thing for him. So he's more than delighted to do whatever it takes, such as blow the bridges, blow some parts of the city up to make this happen. But what Ray said really resonated with me, and this is kind of what I said earlier with how the show, we're getting Gotham just as Gotham goes kind of thing, was how Gotham is soon to be each man for himself, a more savage place. And God, the end of the episode describes that more perfect than ever. But my definitive sentence on that is, this is now literally the city that Batman in the future is in. This is just the beginnings of it, but the Gotham before was Gotham, of course. It was very Gotham-y, but now this is Batman's Gotham. We are finally there, but the show is ending next season. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, this, as was shown in the trailers, is where the battle commenced. So this was an interesting battle. Jeremiah did get shot on the shoulder. That was kind of obvious one where he's just like that in the smile, and that is when he did see the bridges finally blow up. And that was just so satisfying because we haven't seen him smile really like that at all. And I feel like that was the first crack at telling fans that there is more to this chilling side of Jeremiah. Like, he's still very chilling, but there is the Joker side in him. And oh my God, it was just perfect, that smile. And oh my God, guys, despite Ra's now dying, and I'm pretty sure this is definitively, this actually might be in Gotham's universe Ra's tale over, because dying for a second time and not becoming that mummified corpse, but actually descending almost in a hell to hell animation. And by the way, I thought that was really cool when he died. And you know, like, he's called the Demon's Head. I thought it was very poetic in a way, in writing kind of style, how, you know, he's like went backwards. It was so cool, and it like he was being sucked into hell. Very good effects as well. The budget, the CGI was done very, very well there. But God, guys, this is the moment. This really was a cool moment. Now, what I didn't like is how Barbara like grabbed Bruce's hand to do it, and that's how Ra's did die. And this is what I mean, for all intents and purposes now, Barbara is the Demon's Head, like forever, I guess, kind of thing. But yes, let's focus on the lines. And he said, "The choice is now yours. Stay Bruce Wayne or become Gotham's Dark Knight." And the way he said that as well, I thought that was really delivered well. It was probably the most Ra's thing that's happened. And just the fact that he chose to grab hold of Bruce, and that was the only thing that mattered to him before he died. It just shows that even though he's villainous and he's a bit crazy himself, Ra's, and he always has been in the comics and stuff, he only really cares about Bruce and wants the best for him in his own delusional way. So he's like, make that choice now, dude. And we all know the choice he's made, and that is to become the Dark Knight. Loved it. Not too happy about Ra's being dead now, but I still love the silver lining of it. It was a really, really cool scene. But anyway, after this, Bruce talking to Alfred, he wants him to look after Selina. The city is in absolute disarray. The power is out. Even the water supply is damaged. It is just crazy. It's just declared a no man's land. It is bad. And do you know what this means? It means that it is an absolute riot in the streets with villains and whatever gangs, whoever you name it, Firefly, Freeze, Penguin, other sectors, people are taking it. It is warfare. This is optimal time. If you are like a person like Penguin, a villain, you have a crew behind you of freaking do-rags, and you go and secure these places, you're gonna set up a fort. And this is what I mean about this is Batman's playground now. This is his city, and we're finally getting that in Gotham. And this is why I'm a little bit upset, just like you guys, and how this is gonna be his 5th and final season. And it's going to be a little bit rushed, I think. And it's just going to be the most interesting season, because I feel like if we actually did get 22 episodes with this current state of Gotham, it would be so amazing. Because as Jim said on the rooftop, we're going to have to go sector by sector, block by block, secure it. And that is probably what season 5 is going to consist of a bit, but in a very Batman way. But yes, I loved the scenes, guys. I could talk about this forever, but I'm not going to. But we had Freeze taking over after some guys was like saying, this is our sector. He's like, no, it's not. We had Firefly saying, I want 10 blocks of fire and things like that. We had Penguin. We had new freaking characters. It was amazing. It was so good. So good. I loved that bit. Man-Bat was a bit weird. I was just like, But everyone else they introduced and teased that will be coming next season was just absolutely freaking amazing. And I would be talking more about this in a separate video. Going back to Lee and Ed, we got a very quick tease. And as I mentioned earlier, that they will be sticking around because he said to Hugo Strange, fix them. So Okay, fair enough, but please don't make Riddler or freaking Lee a Grundy-esque, like, post-Indian Hill chemical changed person now. A massive shout out to Scarecrow's hat. I love Scarecrow's costume design. One of my favorites, if not my favorite, in the whole of Gotham. It was incredible. And yeah, guys, I'm not going to say too much about this, but God, they're really rubbing this subliminal message in people's faces. The Ra's al Ghul, obviously, as we know, we had the League of Ladies with Barbara, we had League of Men with Ra's, and then the men finally came to Barbara saying, look, we kind of talked, you defeated Ra's, so we're with you now. And she had this line where she said, everything that is wrong with Gotham can be traced back to one problem. Men. Let's start a men-free zone. I have to admit, I do like how, like Sirens place, no men allowed. That was kind of, I felt like a kind of cool Sirens-y kind of message. But apart from that, slaughtering the men, just this really promoting and digging into this message where I feel like a lot of fans don't like it, is going to be, not a popular storyline. I don't know. I know there are going to be some people who say like, oh baby, you just don't like it when Barbara has power or something. I do. I don't care about that. I love Barbara being the leader of the Sirens. So I'll just let you guys decide that in the comments below. What do you think about Barbara's slaughter of the men? Is the League of Ladies now? And of course we had the ending, and as predicted as well, Bruce was kind of beating up people in the streets, looking for Jeremiah, saying, tell him, that I'm looking for him. And honestly, guys, that he was doing like a Batman voice there. He was definitely grustling his voice. He wasn't just shouting. He was definitely trying to do the Batman voice a little bit. I actually really liked it. I could really see it in the future. Obviously, Bat Signal, Bat Signal, wonderful. I love how Bruce was like, you're basically just daring people to come after you. But I think I've talked for too long now, guys. Way too long. But it's the finale. I wanted this to be an extra long video for those who really do like that. If you got this far, fantastic. Thank you so much. I know some people don't like it, but I love going in depth and pouring my passion through my commentary into this show and into these videos as a result of that. So great episode, guys. Great finale. But as a whole, I thought it was a nice conclusion, and it really set up the next season very, very, very well. And it's made me very excited for season 5, but also bittersweet because these are going to be the last reviews next year of mine for that. And just I feel like the show has a lot of potential now that they could finally start blossoming just as it gets cancelled. But I would love to know your thoughts on that in the comments below. What did you think of this episode? Do you wish some things went down in a different way? What do you think of Jeremiah now being out there? What do you think this means now for next season beyond the obvious? Just now it's Batman City. So guys, with that said, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, thank you so much for the support this season. I love you all so much. There are going to be more Gotham videos, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, so be sure to stay subscribed. If you're new to this channel and you've got this far, be sure to subscribe for your Gotham fix in the off season, and of course there will be more Gotham videos as season 5 airs. But apart from that, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far in the video, type in the comments Boba Maya, why not? I just want to say thank you to my patrons for helping fuel the content I create on this channel, and if you are interested in helping me create more content and supporting me, head over to the Patreon link in my description. It really does make a difference. Other than that, guys, other links are in the description to my Discord server. We talk about all things nerdy there with the Boba family. I do have social media. I recommend Twitter. But apart from that, guys, last Gotham review. I think that is it. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm saying it back to front, but yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next Gotham video, which won't be too far away. Even though this season's over, the videos aren't over. So catch you next time.